everyone, and welcome back to Rowing with the Homies. I'm Finlos. I hope you're able to get some movement in today, find your rhythm, find a way to connect to your body and to your senses, some time to care for yourself. This place, Rowing with the Homies, is where we connect what's happening out there in the world, whether it's a major news event, a big philosophical question, or a piece of media that makes us think, with what's happening right here within ourselves, in our bodies, in our minds, in our experiences. It's about finding the link between the external landscape and our internal one. And what's been on my mind is travel. Sometimes it could be an exciting thing, especially when it's for fun, for vacation, with family, with friends. Other times, it's less so. It could be even something that we dread. And that's kind of where I am as I prepare for an upcoming trip for work. And I think a big source of the stress, of course, are the work aspects of it, the preparing, the meeting people, the gathering in strange places, the social interactions. But I think the traveling itself, especially the stress of air travel, really is a huge part of what gives me anxiety for lots of different reasons. I was actually just thinking about this in preparing for this episode. We joke with the kids about how loose airports used to be with security, where people could walk each other to their gates to wave goodbye or greet their friends and family as they arrived. And it's just not like that anymore. So sometimes it feels less like an adventure. I mean, there were even times when traveling on planes kind of felt like a luxury because it costs so damn much. But it's really not like that anymore. It often feels much more like a test of patience and a battle against a system that seems increasingly designed to squeeze all of the calm from my experience. Mostly going to be focusing on domestic flight considerations because my work doesn't take me out of the country. But to begin, the political climate and how it really changes the sense of safety or lack of personal security is really at the forefront of my mind. And I mean, after 9/11, security measures were already increased so much. The TSA, body scanners, invasive searches. We're really still figuring out how to live with those policies. But now, with recent policy changes and the popularization of some interesting viewpoints on different groups of people, those considerations as far as security and safety and limitations on how we can come and go have really translated into a heightened sense of anxiety, even for domestic travel. And for me, a person who tends to be hypervigilant to begin with, it really lends itself, well, the experience really lends itself to my becoming even more so, even more vigilant. And of course, the vigilance isn't just keeping an eye on the other passengers. It's also keeping an eye on the process, keeping an eye on the security, and considering how I'm presenting myself and how I'm being perceived by others. Because there really is very little limitation on what security can do if they perceive an individual as a potential threat in the confines of an airport. And of course, recently, a big policy shift finally went into effect, which is the RwtH and the guidelines that go along with that. So as of May 7th, 2025, the RwtH Act was fully implemented, which means that if you're 18 or older and flying domestically, a standard state driver's license or ID card may no longer be enough. You now need a RwtH compliant license or ID, which has a conveniently obvious gold star on it, or some other acceptable form of identification such as a passport or a DHS trusted traveler card. And if you struggle to get a RwtH, or if you haven't gotten around to it yet for whatever reasons, it really does add a new layer of stress. Did I get a card? Is my card that I have compliant? What if it's not? And ultimately, the TSA does have discretion. They may allow you through security with additional screening if you don't have a RwtH. Honestly, who wants to risk being pulled aside for a lengthy identity verification process when you're already trying to make a flight and just get where you're going? It's not just a minor inconvenience. It's a systemic change that can significantly impact efficiency and add anxiety for millions of travelers who might be unaware or unprepared. It's designed for security, sure, but the rollout and public awareness haven't always been seamless, leading to potential bottlenecks and significant personal stress for some. Again, still talking mostly with domestic air travel. The impact of staffing challenges within air traffic control systems and air traffic control centers has been in the news a lot lately. We've heard increasing reports over the past few years about understaffing in control towers and air traffic control centers across the country. And of course, we want to know, what does this mean for how my flight is being managed? And the simple truth is that fewer controllers managing the same or even increasing volume of flights can lead to, at best, cascading delays and cancellations, and at worst, emergencies and potential disasters. If there aren't enough controllers to manage a certain airspace, flight now can be restricted, meaning planes either sit on the tarmac, circle in holding patterns in the air, or their takeoff slots are pushed back indefinitely. A small delay in one major hub due to staffing issues can quickly ripple across the entire national airspace system, affecting connecting flights, crew schedules, and ultimately my travel plans and your travel plans. And as I've had to travel more and more with work, those cascading effects of delays and canceled flights are real. And it could potentially be, beyond the worrying about my plane crashing, of course, this concern is perhaps the most stressful aspect of modern air travel, because our schedules are so intricately connected and timed, with sometimes 30 or 40 minutes to catch a connecting flight. Any deviance from the schedule can again cause those cascading effects. A canceled flight means scrambling to rebook, often on already full planes, potentially pushing your arrival back by a day or more. A long delay can mean missing connecting flights, missing important meetings, or precious time with family. It means uncertainty. It means spending even more hours in uncomfortable airports and the added expense of unexpected hotel stays or food or ground transportation. And there's the emotional toll of dealing with frustrated gate agents, the anxiety of potentially losing bags, and the mental exhaustion of having plans thrown into disarray with very little clear information. We're left feeling powerless, at the mercy of a system that often struggles to communicate effectively or offer timely solutions. I know that all of the airlines that I fly on have their own separate apps, and they all function to varying degrees of clarity and success as far as communication and rebooking information. And so still, even with the technology, we're often left waiting in line to talk to a person face to face or on a phone to talk to an agent. And it's this unpredictability compounded by the other factors that makes the act of flying feel like such an immense undertaking. How much does my bag weigh? Do I have the right size bottle? Am I going to get pulled aside and have my bag searched just because of how I look? All of these factors combined to transform what should be an exciting start to an adventure into an endurance challenge, leaving us drained before we even reach the destination. And that built-in dread, that anxiety, that gets me thinking how the stresses of air travel are a precursor to something else that's been weighing heavily on me lately, and it's that upcoming trip that will take me away from home for an extended period. It's not just a short getaway. It's not just for a business meeting and then come back home. It's a significant chunk of time, and it brings with it a whole new set of anxieties and considerations, even as I try to embrace and look for those positives. Because when you're away from home for a long stretch of time, the comforts that we take for granted suddenly become precious commodities. Food is so important to me. My routine, my options, and my process for cooking meals for the family are all disrupted. I don't get to participate in the daily routine of preparing, eating, communing, and then cleaning up together. And instead, I now have the stress of finding food that I actually want to eat, prepared in ways that I don't necessarily like, navigating unfamiliar grocery stores or restaurant menus that I really have no interest in, dealing with different dietary norms of the region, or simply missing that specific home-cooked meal that I'm really craving. And it is an emotional drain. It's not just hunger, it's the loss of comfort and familiarity associated with food and food preparation. So I do worry about if I'll be able to maintain healthy eating habits, or will I be stuck with expensive, unhealthy options? And then, of course, there's the broader concept of comfort. I already sleep poorly, but at least if I'm in my space, I can find a way to be comfortable. When you're stuck in a hotel room or in awkward, cramped meeting spaces, the comforts of home, the finding the quiet spaces, the workout equipment that you're familiar with, that particular coffee mug that you really like, or preparing the coffee for your partner, cooking the breakfast for the kids, having the temperature set how I like it, really cold, because that's the only way, using strange pillows, being in a strange room. All of these things severely impact sleep. And then again, with this theme of cascading, that impacted sleep cascades into everything else. I experience that loss of routine. I experience the constant mental effort of adapting to new surroundings, the lack of a true sanctuary where I can fully relax and recharge. It's a significant stressor that I know, because of experience, wears me down over time. Sometimes it's the small things like the quality of the light, or certain smells that feel foreign, or missing the smells of home, that really make me appreciate them when I can't access them. And as I've worked really hard to establish this routine of exercise, I do worry that being away from the routine will have a negative impact. Will the hotel gym have something that I want to use? Will it be quiet? Will it not smell like gross, drying sweat? Will I have the energy or motivation to stick with it when I'm already exhausted from travel and coping with the new space and new experiences? Exercise is a crucial part of my mental and physical well-being, and the thought of it being disrupted for an extended period of time is a genuine concern. I hope to be able to prioritize it while I'm there, but who knows, and that is something that I do worry about. Extended trips often mean interacting with new colleagues or completely new groups of people. There's a pressure to make a good impression, to make small talk, to learn new names and navigate new group dynamics. And for someone who might lean sometimes towards introversion, or for myself, simply valuing genuine connection, that initial superficiality of these interactions is really draining. Because it's not just about being social. It's about finding my people, finding my rhythm. And it takes time and a lot of emotional energy. And so I wonder if I'll find any genuine connections, or will it be a constant series of polite but unfulfilling interactions?
Quick interruption here. I just wanted to add some thoughts about the biggest stressor and source of anxiety for me as I travel, which is probably why it didn't come up as I was initially recording, because it stresses me out and makes me anxious. But I do worry about time away and how it interacts or intersects with my roles as both a parent and a partner. Eva and I have worked very hard to grow healthy attachments in our relationship and us with our children, so I don't experience anxiety from insecurity or the distance or the not knowing all the details of what is going on while I'm away. What I do experience is anxiety about the what ifs of things that might happen. We're such a solid team and have grown to trust one another, so what we do is maintain versions of the routines that we have when we are home. We say our good mornings and have coffee. We lay out our days and talk about how we will manage the events of the day. We do our check-ins, our mealtime highs and lows, and we say our goodnights. It's one of the few gifts of technology that we are still able to connect even when we are apart. But nothing can change the experience of missing the people that I love.
That's where I think I'm trying to embrace a shift. Because despite all these anxieties, there's also the profound potential for positives. This time away can be an incredible opportunity for growth and new experiences, for connecting with new people beyond the superficial. Connecting with new people beyond the superficial can lead to unexpected friendships, fresh perspectives, and learning, both about myself and other people. And that initial awkwardness can give way to genuine rapport. And those are the connections that really enrich the experience. There's also the immense potential for networking. Being away from the usual sphere allows for interactions with people we might never otherwise meet, opening doors to collaborations, career opportunities, or simply new ideas that could significantly impact my future. It's a chance to expand my professional and personal horizons in ways that simply aren't possible within the confines of the daily routine. And maybe most importantly, there's that chance for new experiences. This is really the best aspect of being away from home. Trying new foods, exploring new cultures, seeing new landscapes, learning new things about myself when stripped of my familiar surroundings. These experiences, even the challenging ones, contribute to personal growth, resilience, and a broader understanding of the world. They spark curiosity, they spark creativity, and have the potential to provide new memories. It's the balance between the known stressors and the potential for novelty that really gets me thinking about how to approach this trip. How do I lean into the discomfort for the sake of that growth? Because when I think about how I typically react to discomfort and how I want to respond to it on this trip, that gets me thinking about how depression feels today. For me today, it's about recognizing that the very expectations I place on myself, the relentless pursuit of exceeding expectations, the desire to control, setting routines, and anxiety over the unknown, these are the very things that often feed my anxiety and deepen the shadow of depression. So today, depression feels like the exhaustion from holding on so tightly to those expectations, the weariness of constantly trying to steer the ship where I think it should go, rather than allowing things to just flow. So I'm gonna flip it. I think today, depression feels like letting go. Letting go of the expectation that every day needs to be super productive, that every interaction needs to be perfectly smooth, that I need to be on all the time. Letting go of the internal script that dictates how I should feel, how I should react, or how I should perform. And sometimes my anxiety is fueled by a grip or a hold that I put on myself based on self-imposed standards, a fear of anything less than ideal. When life inevitably deviates from that ideal, which it always does, especially with something as unpredictable as travel, there's often the accompanying feeling of failure or inadequacy, and that is fuel for depression. So today I'm trying to allow the release of that tension. The quiet acknowledgement that maybe, just maybe, I don't need to control everything or prepare for everything. It feels like an urge to open myself up, not just to the inevitability of the challenge and the hardship, but to the potential for positive experiences that arise when we loosen our grip. Consciously trying to shift from a mindset of what could go wrong to what new thing could happen. How can I be surprised? It means opening up to the awkwardness of meeting new people rather than retreating. Opening up to the possibility that a meal I didn't plan for could be surprisingly delicious. Opening up to the idea that a disrupted routine might lead to spontaneous, enriching detours. It's about being present enough to allow for unexpected moments of connection, joy, wonder, even as I experience chaos or discomfort. It's a surrender, not in the sense of giving up, but in the sense of trusting the process, trusting life, and trusting my own resilience to navigate whatever comes. It's recognizing and honoring that some of the most profound positive experiences arise from stepping outside our comfort zones and relinquishing the illusion of control. We're all navigating currents, both external and internal, and finding our rhythm in the process. If any of what we discussed today resonated with you, whether it's the dread of travel, the anxieties of being away from home, or if you're struggling with the weight of expectations and the desire to open up, please know with absolute certainty that you are not alone. These experiences in various forms are part of the journey. Your feelings are real and they matter. If you're finding it hard to navigate these feelings, if the current feels too strong, please consider reaching out, talking to a trusted friend, a familiar family member, a mentor, or someone in your community. They can make a significant difference. If you need more support, if these feelings are significantly impacting your life, please consider seeking professional help. Therapists, counselors, and mental health professionals are equipped to provide support and strategies to help you navigate these challenges. Navigating external challenges, understanding our own coping mechanisms, connecting with others, managing our mental health. It's all part of the process, and we're in this together. As always, I deeply value your time and your willingness to engage with these topics with me. Please reach out if you have any comments, questions, or suggestions for the show. You can send me an email, finlos@finloslives.com. You can find me on social media or check out the website, finloslives.com. Please subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast platform so you don't miss any future episodes. And if you found today's conversation valuable, I would be really, really grateful if you'd consider sharing the show with anyone in your network who might also find it helpful or interesting. Thank you again for being here with me today. Let's keep moving. Let's keep thinking. And I look forward to our next conversation.